I am abundant. I am rich. I am determined. I am focused. I am disciplined. I am capable of anything. I am a powerful creator. I am limitless. I am. I am. Thoughts are powerful. Thoughts lead to action. Actions over time become habits. And habits lead to long, lasting results.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 16 of the Coach's Corner with Make It Your Best Day. We have an awesome guest. I've been super excited about it ever since I've been in contact with him, and I wish I could have ran like 3 episodes already last week. And we have a lot to kind of not get to, but get to know. This is somebody that, like I've always told you guys, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And being able in this position, starting to build relationships with these men and contacts and branching myself out there, but in a good way, and getting some quality people for you guys to hopefully not maybe take something from what they say. And this is more or less not going to be like kind of a motivational type, but it might be. It all depends on how you perceive it, and you want to take his message or my message that we talk about today and put it into your own kind of way to maybe help you, help inspire you. Something he might say in his own message might help you, something I might say. And that's the whole point of this. And that's why we're here today. And I'm bringing somebody on with 20 plus years of coaching and playing basketball. He's a Riverside guy. So he's very local to out here in Riverside, California. He's got a tremendous history. We'll probably get into not even half of his bio. He's got a great, track history, everything in between. Blazeman, if you can do me a favor, please, and bring on my guest. Welcome, Tim. Glad to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be on. Really, really humbled and honored to be on.
Thank you. I feel the same way because it's hard to, like I said a minute ago, kind of, it's not hard to find people, but it is. It's a newer type of thing, and it is, and that's why I related to you. Earlier on, it's like a Zoom call, but we're just here to talk and have fun. And again, appreciate it. Taking an hour out of your life to come here for a minute. So kind of, if you want to introduce yourself, a little bit of your background, where you've been, what you've done. Like I said before, you're a Riverside guy. We can get into that wherever you want to go.
Yeah, it's great, man. First of all, just again, grateful to be here. I grew up in Oregon, and I've got an older brother, and we both played basketball and tennis growing up. My brother actually, he got into Stanford, but he didn't think that he was going to be able to play there. And he ended up going to Pomona-Pitzer. Well, if anyone knows the background of Pomona-Pitzer in the 80s, a guy named Greg Popovich was there. And my brother ended up playing for Coach Pop for a couple years. And he's one of the only student athletes to do dual sports there. He played basketball and tennis at a high level. And it's an amazing story. So we grew up a sports family. My dad actually went to Juilliard, and my mom and dad both got their doctorates at USC. So I come from a very educational family. But here's the real teaching point is that my parents never gave us anything for free. We always worked for things. I had a paper route growing up. I had some unbelievable jobs. I was a bean cannery guy. My brother worked at 7-Eleven. you just name it. And my dad worked extra jobs so that he could do things for us with AAU and, traveling and the expenses of doing sports and music and all that kind of stuff. So I'm super grateful and honored that we had a great foundation, to learn how to work and work for things. And my competitiveness comes from my brother, man. We used to have these knockout, drag out, one-on-one battles in the driveway that like it would be raining because in Oregon, it's hardly ever.
Yeah.
And he would bust my nose up. He would elbow me in every part of my body. And, that toughness comes from that. And, growing up, I idolized guys like George Gervin, the Iceman, and Dr. J. And, I always wanted to be a professional athlete. But you get to a point in your life, you get through college and you get through, I was obviously very blessed enough to play a little bit of semi-pro afterwards in some different leagues and some traveling and those kind of things in basketball and also tennis. Growing up, but my love and passion was for basketball because I wanted to be a college basketball coach. And that work I started in the middle of the 90s and I just started doing basketball camps. And, everything's changed so much in this culture, but I always tell people that want to get into it, if you really, really want to get into it, start with basketball camps. Start with basketball camps and start a relationship and start those processes that can get you the relationships and serve the community and serve things and not try to get yourself something, but go in with an open heart, open mind. I did massive basketball camps and I was fortunate enough to do Portland Trailblazer camps and Willamette University camps and UC Irvine camps and Cal Baptist camps and, all those different kinds of things. And then one thing led to the other, and you start formulating relationships, and jobs started coming your way because people saw your work, people saw that you were relationship oriented, that you were hungry and eager to do games. I also did a lot of traveling to clinics. I'd hear Bobby Knight speak. I'd hear George Raffles speak. Yeah, it was great because we went to go see Air when it first came out. And growing up in Oregon, I knew that whole story, but it was really cool to see all the ins and outs of the stuff that went on with Michael Jordan and the Nike stuff and all that. So I grew up around that campus and so those kind of things. So those that work ethic, those relationships, the opportunities, it took certain people to pay it forward in my life to get me to where I'm at. And I've always said to people is that the best thing you can do in life is pay it forward to someone else, become a mentor, become a man that will teach life skills. And it's just a beautiful thing. And then obviously with my faith component, being a believer, we are able to do a lot of things through community outreach. We're able to grow our faith component within our structure and our program at LPU. We were able to do that at CBU in Riverside, San Diego Christian, and it's just been a wonderful journey.
Awesome. It sounds like a good one, and it's still going, And I'm gonna elaborate real quick on the fact that you said it's all about giving back. It's all about, opening up your arms and just listening. I think I mentioned to you in one of our messages, I'm a youth basketball coach at, the Park and Rec. But it's kind of a funny story. I go to my local middle school where I went to middle school. And I, basically asked, I said, it's an off-campus extracurricular activity. Can I get some of the guys here that might want to play? And so I have a good relationship with my old middle school, and they're like, yeah, anybody you want, anything you need, we'll give it to you. And it's just, that's what it's about. Everybody helping each other and for one common goal, and look where we're at. So that's awesome. And then we can kind of, maybe go into like I said, you're a Riverside guy. Were you born and raised here? Did you grow up here? Is this where you started and then ended up?
No, I was born in Los Angeles, and my dad was finishing up his doctorate. My mom was finishing up her doctorate at USC, and they wanted to move out of the city, and he got a great opportunity up north in Oregon. And so we grew up there most of my life till about I was 30. And I got an opportunity within the league, the college league and NAI league at Cascade College that I was coaching at. I got an opportunity. I got a call from a guy that used to be at Western Baptist, who was now Corbin. And that's Coach Tim Collins, who spent, I think, 11 years as the head coach at Cal Baptist as we were NAI, and then they were D2. And obviously they made the transition to Division I. But I think before Rick Croy, he was the winningest coach, and we had the best winning percentage and most wins throughout the 8 years that I was there and the 11 years that he was there. So we were able to build a really good foundation and a great program there in Riverside. So I was there about 8 years. I lived on campus at CBU. I lived just across the street that are townhomes now. And when I say that I love that community, I love that community. I mean, I was ingrained in Sandals Church on campus. I was ingrained in the community. We did all sorts of basketball camps. I recruited heavily in that area, both everywhere from Ramona to Riverside Poly, all over the place. And then we'd go deep we'd go into the desert areas, Moreno Valley. There's some unbelievable talent in the Riverside area, as you know.
Yeah, no,
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, I miss it dearly. I love it here. This is a great. We have Damien High School and Laverne and San Dimas. We have this beautiful area. Adewanda High School, obviously. We have some powerhouse programs here. Chino Hills. Obviously everybody knows about the Ball brothers. But to me, Riverside is just something that hits my soul. It's something that is never leaves me. My wife and I still go back to the hotel to have brunch there sometimes. I've got friends at CBU still, and
That's awesome.
I'm not able to go there as much as I want to, but it was definitely CBU helped define my whole career. I mean, it really helped me become the best assistant basketball coach I could ever be. And then obviously with all the experience that I gained through college, through some pro stuff, through high school coaching, I was able to get a head coaching job. I was an assistant for 15 years.
Oh,
And
nice.
and it was just being prepared. I was finally felt prepared in 2010, and I was fortunate enough to get the head coaching job at San Diego Christian. And I've really enjoyed the journey, not only being an assistant for so long, because you learned how to do everything. You learned how to serve the program, do the laundry, do the scouting reports, do all the recruiting. I'll tell you one time, true story. I got a little Hyundai Sonata over there at Riverside Sonata, and I put 24,000 miles on that sucker in 1 year of recruiting. 24,000 miles.
In a year?
I was everywhere. I drove up north to Oregon, Washington, Arizona, Utah, all over Southern California. And so there were so many things, so many components that I learned how to be the best assistant coach and the best servant to the program before you get elevated to be a head coach. And I say this sincerely, when people on here, if you can get a NAI job or a junior college job, and you really love the game and you're ingrained, you can coach at any level. If you stay there, you learn the grind, you learn how to do everything, because you have to do so many things. You don't just do one or two things, and it prepares you for everything.
Yeah.
Yes, huge moving parts. So I mean, there isn't a thing that you don't learn at that level.
Oh,
I mean, it's amazing.
that's awesome. That's beautiful. There's a question in the comments we'll get you right now is how is coaching compared to 10 years ago?
That's a great question. I got asked that the other day. Basketball has changed in a way that there's so much skill and so much talent and so much athleticism. There's there's so many bigger bodies and more athletic kids, and there's so many places now and opportunities where you can get individualized coaching and camps, and you get all your social media, and you get all these outlets and everything. And I think from 10 years ago, I would say that the game is still just an absolutely beautiful game to watch, to play, to coach. But I would say that it's changed in the athleticism and the skill set and the amounts of incredible, innovative things that people can do on a basketball court. Now, I will say we are behind the Europeans, I think, in our skill set, in what we do, in our fundamentals and all that. But we are definitely not behind anybody in athleticism and capable people that can really play the game.
Yes. Blaze, man, you're completely correct on that. There's a question in the private, or a comment in the private chat. I just read that's pretty true. But I also wanted to, now that you said that about the athleticism, for example, I have a middle school kid. He's, I don't know, probably 6'1", 6'2", super, big center. But he didn't think he could, make a shot. He didn't think he could do, what I know he could do, and I could see it in him, and a little bit of work and a little bit of, confidence building, and now he shoots it like it's nobody's business, and he shoots right over the top of people's heads. It's pretty beautiful,
Yeah, I mean it's amazing, and you're seeing it at such a younger age, of just
Oh yes,
development and stuff. But we have to be very aware of how the Europeans are running their business within their structure of how they teach skill development. I mean, look at the Joker. I mean, that just says his skill set it's just you can't teach that stuff, and it's so high level. And Doncic is so high level, and so the mixture in the NBA right now between the European skill sets and the athleticism of American basketball it's pretty phenomenal to watch. There's more basic components to it, like the game's not as complex as it used to be here, because you're seeing a lot of high ball screens and you're letting people go off the dribble and do athletic things and stuff. But when you get a mixture of skill set and athleticism, and you're teaching the game, and you're teaching angles and spacing and screen for the screener sets and beautiful European action where the spacing's right and continuity stuff, and watching the Warriors play and how they run split action motion, and it's still an absolutely beautiful game to watch.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, you said something. You said something that got to me, and not in a bad way. But you said Warriors. Are you a guy who believes old style basketball or the new era, new style? Let's shoot up 63s and get 10 of them, or are you the guy that I would be, and I attack the basket and you're going to foul me before you get it another chance?
So I'm going to get you with this one, a little bit of both. So. Okay. I think the three is the great neutralizer. Everyone on our team, and this is the best team that we've had since I've been at LPU. We've got some NCAA transfers coming in. It's taken us a while to build. It's a small school, and what we do is we really try to find really highly skilled guys that can shoot the basketball, because I think it's the neutralizer. Okay. And they're coming in, and this in this culture, like someone had said on the questions, that what do you think changed about the last 10 years? Well, you can add the 3-point line has changed, and it has neutralized the game. Yeah, it's just it's a people. You got big stepping out. You got 7-footers, 7'5" guys in Wemby now that can shoot 25-foot shots with ease, and they'd rather do that than have their back to the basket. And so here's the deal, though. I think you got to add in the new game and the old game. You have to have some physicality. You got to have some guys that can play with their back to the basket. You got to have some guys that can get to the rim. You got to have some floor spacers, and you got to have some dudes that are really tough, like tough defensively, tough offensively. And I think if you get that mesh, like I look at Gonzaga, I look at Kansas State. You look at the teams at the college level that are just tough and skilled and athletic, and they get after it defensively, and they know their spacing angles and their timing's good. And it's a beautiful game to watch, when you put kind of the old school style in with the new school style. So it can be done. I tell people all the time, they ask me, Coach, how do you deal with this generation? I said, you meet them halfway. I said, you can still discipline and use life skills through basketball, through faith, through whatever you want to teach in that environment, but you got to meet them halfway. You can't tell a kid these days, like, leave your phone at home, because when you're coming to the gym, it ain't happening. Like, that's not meeting them halfway. Hey, come to the gym, but you can leave your phone in the bag. Try not to check it too many times if we're just playing open gym or whatever. But, just things like that where you can really, and it's not a compromise, but you got to meet these guys halfway, and they're still relationship driven. No one can ever tell me that. They are still deeply rooted in relationships. And if they know you care about them and they care about you, they'll run through the wall for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of cool because I have a player who I've had for about a year and a half, and he's one of those guys that, if you meet him in the middle and just kind of give him the green light when, he wants to take it, let him have it. And he has a three that I'm beginning to like, even though it's a little heart attack. He likes to shoot just beyond outside of the, 3-point line or the wing, and he blows my mind. He hucks it up there like it's nobody's business. And I'm like, oh, we can work on the shot a little bit, but you know what? You made it. I'll take it. And positive reinforcement, encourage them, and just support them. So
yeah. Well, I'm gonna answer one of Jerry's questions here.
Okay, go for it.
He has a couple of them. And so when you coach or teach, do you find yourself teaching more of European style? And then what are the Europeans doing that we should be doing so we are not behind them? The Europeans, they start very young in their philosophy, and they have all these programs and academies set up. And so they're teaching a lot of fundamentals, a lot of slow down pace basketball. And you got to remember, they're not as athletic as we are here. And so when you're structuring those kind of academies and programs over there, you're going to have more timing, spacing, angles, maybe more below the rim type of stuff, more skill development, those kind of things. And I think what we've missed here in the last 10 to 15 years is you can still teach an athlete how to be a really good basketball player. The problem is sometimes we see athletes and we just let them go. We just let them play. Oh, hey, just play. And they're shooting with a hitch in their shot, and they're shooting on the way down, or they can touch the top of the backboard, but their passing skills and their timing is not there. They don't know how to jump stop. They over dribble, whatever it may be. So the perfect format is to spend time teaching kids fundamentals from a young age, teaching them how to be a basketball player and not just a player. So you teach them basketball skill developments, how to box out, how to rebound. One of the things in Oregon is we had such great coachings fundamentally. Now, people might think it's robotic or whatever. We knew how to play basketball. We knew how to pass. We knew how to deliver a pass. Yeah. We knew how to rebound, box out. We knew how to run a zillion sets. We were taught the game at a young age on how to do all those things. And sometimes we just see people's talent and we just let them go. Oh, they're really talented, so just let them go. And, you get what you get in that when you go over to Europe, like we did with our 19U team, and Spain kicked our rear by about 18 points, and they just went in and they did everything fundamentally better than us. They passed better. Yeah, their angles were better. They played hard. They played together. The coaching was there. They listened to whatever it may be. So if there's anything, what we need to do is put our ego to the side and say, hey, let's integrate a little bit of this philosophy over here because it's working in Europe. We can take it over here and we can teach it to all the talent that we have here, and see where it could take us. But I think that we've missed the boat on a lot of those things, fundamentally and structurally, because we just see the talent in people.
Yeah, and I actually, again, like you're talking about, I actually see teams being put together that way. And people can say, oh, yeah, well, that's travel ball. But even in my own opinion, you could take, an elite travel ball team and do basic fundamentals. I see it all the time, and it's not directed towards just fundamental or just travel ball teams. I see some pretty decent, let's say lower levels or younger ages of youth that they can, if you just, so many people I've seen just with what I do in the business that I'm in, where I'm at, is just, oh, here's a basketball, let's put up 40 shots, but tell them how, show them what to do, like they don't run plays. I have a really, I scratch myself, or it irks me, because it's like, okay, here's a whistle, I'll blow it 4 times and I coached you today. Like, no, get out there and like be an example. I don't know, might be me.
Yeah, it's true. And I think going back to the European style, I actually have some really good screen for the screener European sets and some OB stuff and some ATO action that I use that is just awesome European stuff. But I integrate it into a motion oriented offense, which teaches skill set. But I have a couple really talented guys that I gotta let them play with a little bit of freedom. I don't want my kids to be robots, but they got to be what we call, basketball players. I've said this before. Be a basketball player. That means you read things. You read whether you have to slip or cut or draw a handoff, alleviate ball pressure. Do you read things defensively? Are you tied on a string with each other? You got to teach them great fundamentals and European style things, but your talent level, you got to mix in with that, and you got to give them a little bit of a leash, because you have to let them play some basketball, the feel of the game, rather than trying to teach them how to be a robot.
Thank you.
And I love it.
Yeah.
So a little old, little new. Yeah.
Cool. That sums it up. That's great. That's wonderful. So my next question would be for you, in a sense, I guess, would be like, and I'm sure you obviously love where you're at, but do you love the fact that, where college is at today, and just the growth in college? Because just being an outsider, I've seen just like the tremendous change in what's going on and everything. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool, because even probably where you're at, things are growing and prospering. It's amazing how this game is continuing to evolve into, something spectacular, at all levels. So.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's very true.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see. Let me skim through some of my questions here.
I'm sorry. I think the comment is for Mr. Cook. Have you heard of Chris Heron?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I saw Chris
Okay.
Heron play live at Fresno State when he played for Tarkanian. And the Chris Heron story, you can look it up. And there's actually a 30 for 30 on him or something. He was an amazing man, but got into some drug problems. And amazing story. I think he's doing really well. He's sober, and he goes around and does.
I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's an amazing comeback story. You know what I mean? The story itself and how that young man did that to himself. That's that's just crazy. For me, the story is about comeback and what he does for his community, and he goes around and talks about all this stuff like that. Yeah, but Jerry was asking because actually FFM Network is from Fall River, Massachusetts.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah,
we remember watching him in Durfee play basketball. You know what I mean? High school. So
he was beautiful player. Man.
Sorry, Coach.
No, I think that's great. Chris Heron, people didn't really know a lot about him until that came out. And Chris Heron was a baller, man. He was tough, came from an obviously tough neighborhood, and went to go play for Tark. And you know anything about Tark, Tark can recruit, and he's had some teams. But yeah, the Chris Heron story is it should be very inspirational to a lot of people.
Yeah, nice. Blaze, man, you ready to jump to break, or you want me to ask him one more question, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah, we'll go to break. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, we're gonna go to break. Go to the restroom, get a snack, do what you got to do, and we'll be right back.
distance, light years from tomorrow, far beyond yesterday. She is watching, heart aching with sorrow. She is broken as she waits, hoping when all is said and done, we learn to love and be as one. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna make it right before tomorrow. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna find a place where we belong, where we belong. And so you know, you'll never shine alone. There are shadows deep in the horizon that leave us scared and so afraid. As the fallout of a world divided, it brings her tears and so much pain. So we take cover from the dark, hoping to find where we can start. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna make it right before tomorrow. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna find a place where we belong, where we belong. And so you know, you'll never shine alone. The starlight will find a place where we belong, where we belong. You will see as the mountains fall and turn to dust, that there's one thing that won't change. I believe there is something within each of us that always stays, that will always remain as long as love never fades. Starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna make it right before tomorrow. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna find a place where we belong. And so you know, you'll never shine alone. The starlight will find a place where we belong, where we belong. She is watching, heart aching with sorrow. She's broken as she waits.
Hi, welcome back from break. Hope you had a nice break. I know I did. Give me a minute to think a little bit of more questions to ask our awesome guest today. I want to thank him again for coming on the show, taking the time. Also, want to thank my audience, Fallon. I see you. Hope you're still here listening. Thank you for always being here and just being there for support for everything. So thank you. And Blazeman, if you can bring him back up, that'd be awesome. How was your break?
That was great. I was like, hey, that was a great break, man.
Yeah.
I didn't think I need one. And then when you said it, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I know.
It's kind of nice. Like you said, you go and you don't think that you need one. And then after a while, you're like, oh, my jaw kind of hurts down here. I've been going for the last half hour. Okay.
Yeah. No joke. Yeah, you got to go to the bathroom, grab a drink or something. I know. It's crazy.
Yep, absolutely. And I probably know the answer to this question already because I've been in the business long enough. But what do you think the biggest difference between a high school program versus a college program would be in this era, in this generation? Like, is there similarities? Is there big difference? I mean, I'm sure there's big differences, just in maturity level alone. But as far as basketball goes, is it? I'm sure it's faster pace. I mean, I run a pretty fast paced basketball team, but that's just me. That's just my philosophy. But what's one thing that you think that over your years of coaching that you've seen just change between youth into adulthood of basketball?
Yeah, terrific question. So I think it's hard for people to understand how good the levels are. So junior college level is fantastic. You got Division I, Division II, NAI, and then Division III, and every one of those levels gives scholarships. Like we can give full scholarships sometimes, and people don't understand that. Whoa. And I'm like, yeah, it's why you see a bunch of Division I transfers in our league, because they didn't make it, they didn't play enough, whatever it may be. Our league is notorious for getting Division I transfer. I have one right now, and it's Division II. We have two Azusa Pacific graduates that are doing grad school at our place, and they're fantastic young men, and they're really good players from an elite top 20 Division II program. So that being said, high schools, what I've seen is the really, really top level ones, and I don't want to slight anyone, but the Damians, the Harvard Westlakes, the Mater Days, the Etawandas, they have elite skilled athletes and mostly have at least 1 to 3 Division I players on their rosters. So you're looking at the top tier high school programs, and they are functioning more like a university or a college type setting. So they're preparing those young men and women for probably pretty high battles. Okay. Nice. So we don't always get the top tier high school players, for reasons of the 3, 4-star, 5-star social media stuff. They're going to move on to the Dukes and, Carolinas and UC Irvines and CBUs, the high level Division I's. But you see at our level, I've had a thing where when we get a freshman kid, we redshirt them. And the reason why is they come into our gym, they're nowhere near ready enough, strength-wise, maturity-wise, socially-wise. One of our kids that we signed from Saugus, he's 6'5", 220, but he just turned 18 the other day. He was 17 years old. Comes into our gym. The speed of the game is completely different. Even though he's physical, he doesn't know how to use his physicality because he's been throwing boys around, and now he's dealing with 24-year-old grown men.
Yep.
And so the high school game, it is a beautiful game, but only 3 to 5% of those kids are going to go on and play at another level. And so for us redshirting kids, I redshirted 6 kids last year. And the difference between last year and now is you would never even recognize them. 15 pounds of muscle, The speed of the game is slowed down for them. They understand all their angles and spacing. They understand how to play the game better. They're physical. They're mentally developed. They've gone through the system. They know how a real university operates. They've gone to chapel twice a week. They've gone to class every day. They've gone 6 days a week in the weight room, in the classroom, and also film room. They travel with us on most of the trips, except for when we have to fly. And so you're looking at a very intricate process of getting high school kids ready. Now, you throw in another curveball wrinkle, the COVID kids that are stacked up on top of each other. So COVID kids are not going to funnel out until 2025. You're still going to have COVID kids that still have a year left through the year 2025 because it started in 2020. So you've got 6-year guys that are in systems. Yeah. And you've got a 17-year-old high school kid that's looking up going, really? You know, I have to compete against this. And here's the mental part of it. They start all over again. They were the man in high school, and now they start all over again. And it's extremely tough on them mentally and physically. So the parents have loved that I redshirt. So I got 3 red shirts coming in. And just watching them to develop from the spring till now, because of our player development program, because of the leagues that we play in, because we're able to do things during the summer with them in the weight room and on the floor, they're already ahead of the process. And to tell you the truth, if they just came in and tried to get a roster spot, there's no way they'd play. There's no offense to them. They're good players, but there's guys that are ahead of them that have had 3, 4, 5, and some 6-year experience. And
that's true.
Yeah.
I like how you do. I mean, you know, it is true. I like how you do the COVID thing in there because that changes the element completely. You know, so
yeah,
that's awesome.
And it's just trying to find a realistic approach of where you're at. There's some phenomenal high school kids, and usually those guys go up and play way up, and there could be future pros. And there's some really good high school kids that might get lost in the shuffle because they're smaller guards or whatever. And that's where we have to do a good job of identifying kids. First and foremost, they have to have a faith background. And then we go from there. Their GPA, we've had an average GPA of 3.5 coming into LPU, which is very, very high. And then you've got to look at, where does that kid fit into your program? What positional needs do you have?
Yes.
You know, has the kid been coached correctly? Is he coming from a really good program, or is he coming from a program that doesn't really do things year round, or that really just doesn't have a player development? Whatever it is, you've got to make sure that you're doing your homework. And the great things about having such fertile grounds of recruiting in the Inland Empire and this area in Southern California, man, what a place to recruit from. We have some really, really great, talented young men and women in not only basketball, but just in everything that we do down here. It's pretty amazing.
It is, and that kind of takes me into, if you want to elaborate as much as you want, into, like we talked about before we got on air, is your schedule a little bit. If you want to go there and talk about that a little bit, we can go there. Or if there's something else in mind you want to mention.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about the schedule. It goes back to, I've been in the NEI a long, long time, almost 20 plus years. NEI, Division II, NCAA. And I was able to do some player development stuff way back in the 90s with Portland in the WNBA for a little while. And we used to do a friend of mine he's a big agent, and he brought the Olympic team for the women up to Vancouver, Washington. And we were able to do some player development there. And people have to understand the NEI is an incredible level. It's a level where there's been pros, Dennis Rodman, Terry Porter. I mean, you can go on and on about the players that have come through the NEI. And so the NCAA has been so big, as we know. People get lost in, the NAI is lower than D3 and lower than junior college. And you have to continue to educate people on how good our level is. And that starts with, you got Life Pacific University. We have an enrollment just under 1,000 students and student athletes. And we're in San Dimas. We have this beautiful campus. And we're playing a national schedule, and probably one of the toughest schedules in all of America for our level. So we start out on October 28th. We play at Division I Cal State Fullerton. And then we have the biggest game of our history of our school, most likely. And we're playing at Big 12 BYU on 11-1. And
at BYU.
Yeah, at BYU. And, you better be ready for these kind of things. You better have your players ready. You better, because you know what they can do to us if you're not ready and prepared. And then we have Southern Utah on the schedule. We have Long Beach State on the schedule. We have Powerhouse Biola, which is a Division II, Westmont. And then we have Cal State Northridge, and they have a new coach that came from Cal State San Bernardino, who he's an awesome coach. I think he's going to get Cal State Northridge going. And then you go into our league, and we have arguably the toughest league in all of America with the Masters and Vanguard and Hope International. And it's very, very daunting. And what people have to understand is that, again, when you're looking at the NEI, there's some incredible sports being played, not only basketball, but incredibly high-level sports. You got pros going and getting tryouts with football teams and lacrosse teams and basketball and baseball and stuff. So us being centralized in Southern California, there's a lot of really good talent and skill to recruit from here and good fits, but you got to do your homework,
Yeah, totally.
And the schedule is for, you'll get a little kick out of this. The schedule is for the guys. They're getting to play in places that maybe they'd never be able to play in. I certainly, it's tough for me because we get beat up doing it, but we get a paycheck and it supports the program. It allows us to fly to places. It allows us to get extra travel here. Yeah, and an incredible experience for the guys. And so it's really important for us to get our word out. It's important to be on your show. That's why it's an honor. It's important to be positive on social media and get your stuff out there, because we know that that's a good avenue. It's important to talk to people about who we are and what we do. And, we're a faith-based Christian university who we play high-level athletics, and we invite people to come to our campus, and we invite people to see who we are. And, I've been here 8 years, and it's a beautiful place with beautiful people. And, we treat people the right way. And, we're not perfect, but we're going to make sure that we have great hospitality when you come, and that we believe in what we're doing. And some people may not like it, but for the most part, we have a really high percentage of quality student athletes that have a great understanding of what we're about and what we do and how our culture's built.
Beautiful. Last question I probably have for you is where do you think you would be without basketball?
Probably playing pickleball.
Okay, there you go. Like that. I was hoping you squeeze that in there a little bit.
Oh,
nice.
Man, you know what? God's been so good to me as far as just my journey with basketball and sports. And, he's just blessed us with an opportunity to be in a calling. I call it a calling because it is a calling. It's a calling to be at small college. A lot of people, younger on in my career, I chased the Division I stuff and the pro stuff. And, those doors opened and closed. And, it's a fascinating journey, and you can use basketball for faith development, for life skills, and it's just a beautiful thing. So when you ask me that, I wouldn't be anywhere without God, and God gave us basketball. So it's a pretty big a big deal to be doing what I'm doing, and I'm telling you, I'm grateful and thankful for every day in this thing, because I've met the greatest people in the world through sports.
Awesome, beautiful. Well, I want to thank you one more time for doing this, and I couldn't ask for another better guest, and I will be seeing you in the near future. I'll be coming to visit you guys somehow, some way. Um, I think you got a lot to show, and I'm gonna try to gather that knowledge the best I can. And if there's anything I can do for you or your program, let me know. If I can be a motivational speaker or anything like that, let me know, because I also do that on the side. So. Um, Again, thank you, everybody, for in the audience. If you, after I'm done and complete, please come back for Mr. B's show. Um, it's supposed to be a great show tonight. So, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm very thankful for you too. And you just hit me up, and we get you a ticket to whatever local game you want to come to, and I think you love it, and we're just very grateful for being here and having the opportunity to talk about LPU and also our program and just life, in general.
Very awesome. Anytime during the season, if you want to, help get a message out there, you're more than welcome to come back. So, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for me. If there's any further questions, comments we want to get to, Blazeman, you can pull them up for me. If not, you can go ahead and roll us out. No? Good? You sleeping back there? Okay, well, you don't want to roll us out yet. Maybe one more quick one. It's probably a dumb question, but how long do you see yourself? Not to exploit your age, but how long do you see yourself coaching at this level? Do you ever see yourself coaching in the pros, maybe NBA? I mean, it sounds like you got action.
Yeah, great question. That the door. I chased a little bit younger. I had some good NBA connections and chased that, and then I started getting into where I was called to be, and I started figuring out how important this level was to the development of character in young men and young women. And it's a special level. You're able to teach. It's pure. The game's still pure. And those things have been a part of my life for many, many years. But very interesting question, because I will finish up my last 2 years with my son here. That will be 30 years.
Oh,
and I think it'll be an interesting, could be an interesting pivot about where I want to be. Do I want to be a special assistant at a higher level and help people with their schemes and behind the scenes stuff? I've had a couple opportunities with ex-players who can get me a few pro gigs overseas. And so it's something that I throw around a little bit, but I also, as most people say, I do live in the moment. And so each day from here, I'm very blessed to be here, and each day, and just thinking about it. But there will be some thought process into that as I get done with the next couple years, to be honest with you.
Beautiful. Well, if you don't have anything further, we can roll out. I mean, we can stay. It's up to you, Blazeman. I'm good with everything. If you're good, we can hit the button and end this one, so you can start another one.
Okay, Coach. Oh man, Mr. Cook, thank you so much for coming on the FFN network. If you liked what we did here, we have a lot of other fun shows. Monday through Friday, we have shows on this network. They all start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and above, But I really like to thank you very much for your time. And again, spread the word, share us. It was a pleasure having you, Coach. Great job as always. You can sign
Thank you.
off, Coach. Say goodbye to everybody, and then we'll take it from there. Again, thanks a lot, Tim.
Appreciate
Thanks.
everything, guys. Okay.
Well, guys, that was episode 16. Another phenomenal week, another phenomenal episode. I promise to bring you the next 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks of more quality people. I'm not saying any of my other people are less quality people, but I have been blessed with some very great connections and relationships over the course of this experience. I want to shout out FFN for their gracious of giving me this platform to do so. I didn't think I had that kind of power. So I want to encourage you to come back for episode 17, if I'm thinking correctly, episode 17. I'm not sure who it's going to be yet. I reached out to a couple people, waiting for some people to return my call, but also want to tell you to also come back for Mr. B's show here in just a couple minutes. Once I end, he will begin, and it's supposed to be an immaculate show. So I will definitely jump over there and say hi and see what it's all about. So thank you guys, and thank you for being here, and your support means everything to me.
Feel it until you believe it. I am powerful. I am strong. I am successful. I am abundant. I am rich. I am determined. I am focused. I am disciplined. I am capable of anything. I am a powerful creator. I am limitless. I am. I am. Thoughts are powerful. Thoughts lead to action. Actions over time become habits. And habits lead to long, lasting results.
Hello, everybody. This is Jerry from the Neutral Corner. That's right. You heard it right. The Neutral Corner. Just had a great meeting with Blaze from FFN Radio Network, and we both in agreement. Had a great production meeting with him. We are coming back, and we are coming back in September. We're looking at Sunday from 7 to 8. In between those football games, we all love to watch. The show's going to be exciting. We're going to bring some Hall of Famers on. We're going to talk to local young talent, which I think is very important to have, for them to have a platform to talk about their fights, their upcoming events. We're going to have local gyms on to talk about the events they're having. We're going to have professional fighters and ex-professional fighters and trainers and cutmen and cornermen. We want to bring all the aspects of boxing to the Neutral Corner and FFN Radio Network. So we are back. We're looking at September. I hope that you're excited and you will share the word, and I will be reaching out for my first guest in September. I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of you to be on the show. I'm excited about the show. Again, we just got done with a meeting with Blaze Man from FFN Radio Network. He's the president, he's the owner, he's the producer, he's the man behind the scenes that makes it all happen. We had a really good, positive meeting. I'm excited to be back. He's excited to have us back. Sometimes I just like to take a step back, recharge, rethink, refuel, and come back with something that might be a little better, maybe different things, new exciting things. So I want to thank all the Neutral Corner fans for being patient, and I'm excited to be back, and hopefully you're excited to have us back. And look, you young fighters, the gyms, the trainers, all those boxing people out there, you'll be hearing from me. Hope to have you on a Neutral Corner where you can express your thoughts about boxing, the programs you have in your gym, the things you do for the youth. And I'm looking at my local forever guys, the gyms, the fighters, to have you on and give you a platform where you'll be able to talk about your upcoming fight, and we'll talk about your training and how it's going, how training camp went with all fighters. So hope to have you back. We're looking at, again, Sunday from 7 to 8 in September. The Neutral Corner is coming back on FFN Radio Network. Can't wait for the first show.